Interbook Plus, author Atomic Habits, ain't your average self-help book it. S, like a playbook for leveling up your life one tiny move at a time. James Clear, the dude behind it, is a writer and speaker who blew up big time for breaking down complex psychology into straight-up practical hacks. He's not out here preaching overnight success or some magic formula. Instead, he's all about those small, daily tweaks that stack up like compound interest. Clear's whole mission is simple. Help regular folks build habits that actually stick, ditch the ones that drag him down, and design a lifestyle that makes success feel automatic. That's why this book has been writing bestseller lists for years. It's relatable, it's science-backed, and it talks to you like a friend who wants to see you win. Success ain't some Hollywood montage where you grind for a week and suddenly you're a legend. Nah, it's more like stacking pennies. One penny don't mean squat, but keep stacking every day. And before you know it, you're sitting on a fat roll. That's the whole vibe of Atomic Habits. Small changes, repeated consistently, compound into massive results. Think about it like this. If you jet host 1% better every single day, by the end of the year, you not just a little better, you 37 times better. That's compound interest, but applied to your habits. On the flip side, if you get 1% worse every day, you don't just slide back a little, you crash hard. Tiny moves, good or bad, stack up way faster than you realize. Why big goals don't work and small habits do, is the trap most people fall into. They set these huge, flashy goals. I'm gonna lose 50 pounds. I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna quit smoking tomorrow. And for a hot minute, they're hyped. They buy the gym membership, grab the fancy notebook, toss the cigarettes. But then life hits work, stress, late nights, bad moods, and boom, the goal feels impossible. Claire flips the script. Don't obsess over the goal. Obsess over the system. Goals are the scoreboard, but habits are the plays you run every day. You don't win a basketball game by staring at the scoreboard. You win by running good plays. Over and over, and same with life. The ice cube effect. Now, was it that one degree that did the magic? Nah. It was all those invisible degrees before it, stacking up until a breakthrough moment. That's how habits work. You might be grinding for weeks, months, even years, and it feels like nothing's changing. But then, one day, the results pop off, and everybody calls it an overnight success. Truth is, it was years of invisible work finally hitting the tipping point. Real-life example. The British cycling team Claire tells this wild story about the British cycling team. For decades, they were straight-up trash-like, embarrassingly bad. Then they hired a new coach, Dave Brailsford, will believe it in the aggregation of marginal gains. Basically, he looked for tiny 1% improvements everywhere. Better bike seats, cleaner uniforms, even teaching riders how to wash their hands so they didn't get sick. Individually, those changes were small. But stacked together, the team went from nobodies to winning Tour de France titles and Olympic golds. That's the power of tiny gains, boring little tweaks that add up to world-class results. Why habits shape your identity? Eri is the kicker. Every time you repeat a habit, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. You hit the gym, that's a vote for being a fit person. You write a paragraph, that's a vote for being a writer. You skip the cigarette, that's a vote for being smoke-free. That's a vote for being someone who doesn't take care of their health. Eat fast food 5 nights a week. That's a vote for being unhealthy. Bad habits compound, just like good ones. The scary part is, they often feel harmless in the moment. One donut won't kill you. One skipped workout won't ruin your body. But stack those choices for years, and suddenly you're living in a body or a lifestyle you didn't want. The big lesson of Chapter 1, to real gem here, is this. Success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. If your system is trash, your results will be trash, no matter how big your dreams are. So, instead of asking, what do I want to achieve? Start asking, what habits will get me there? Because the habits you repeat every day are the invisible architecture of your future. Chapter 2. Identity over goals. Here is the deal. Most people try to change their lives by setting goals. Wanna lose 20 pounds. I want to quit smoking. I want to write a book. Sounds good, right? But James Clear flips the script. He says, goals ain't the real engine of change. The real engine is identity. Think of it like teas. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. You don't just do habits, you become them. Goals versus identity. Let us break it down. Goal-based thinking. I want to run a marathon. Identity-based thinking. I'm a runner. Say the difference. One is about achieving something once. The other is about becoming someone. And when your habits line up with your identity, they stick. If you only chase goals, you're basically saying, I'll be happy when I hit that finish line. But if you shift your identity, you're saying, this is just who I am now. That's way more powerful. Why goals can backfire? They're temporary. You hit the goal? Then what? You lose 20 pounds. Celebrate, and boom, you gain it back. They create a yo-yo effect. You're either winning or failing. That's stressful. 3. They focus on outcomes, not systems. And outcomes are just the scoreboard. Systems are the plays you run every day. Clear's point. Forget obsessing over the scoreboard. Build the system. Build the identity. The 2 layers of change. James Clear says there are 2 layers of change. One, outcome change. What you get? Lose weight. Write a book. Make money. Those identity change. Who you become, a healthy person, a writer, an entrepreneur. Those are most people. Start with outcomes. But the real magic happens when you start with identity. Because once you believe you are that person, the habits follow naturally. Example, the smoker who quits behind 2 people trying to quit smoking. Someone offers them a cigarette. Person A says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. Person B says, no thanks, I don't smoke. Say the difference. Person A still identifies as a smoker there, just trying to change. Person B, they've already shifted their identity. They're not a smoker anymore. That's way more powerful. Habits as proof of identity. Every habit you repeat is like casting a vote. You don't need 100% of the votes to win an election. You just need a majority. Same with habits. You don't need to be perfect. You just need enough consistent votes to tip the scale. You write 1 page, gives vote for being a writer. You hit the gym, gives vote for being an athlete. You meditate for 5 minutes, gives vote for being mindful. Over time, those votes stack up, and your identity shifts. Why identity change is hard? Here is the catch. Your current identity is tied to your past habits. If you've always been the funny one, the lazy one, or the procrastinator, those labels stick. And breaking free means rewriting the story you tell yourself. That is scary. But it's also freeing. Because once you realize identity is flexible, you can start building the version of you that you actually want to be. The big lesson of Chapter 2, to mind takeaway. Don't focus on what you want to achieve. Focus on who you want to become. Ask yourself, what kind of person would achieve the results I want? Then start proving it to yourself with small, daily votes. Chapter 3, Q+, Craving, the spark that starts it all. So check it, every habit you've ever had, good or bad, starts with a little spark. James Clear calls it the cue. It's like the starter pistol that kicks off the whole routine. You see something, hear something, feel something, and boom, your brain goes, "Oh, I know what comes next." But here's the twist. The cue by itself ain't enough. You also need the craving, that itch in your brain that says, "Yo, I want that hit of satisfaction." Without the craving, the cue is just background noise. Together, though, cue plus craving is like gasoline in a match. That's how habits get lit. The cue. Make it obvious, habits don't just appear out of nowhere. They're triggered. You smell cookies, gives you wanna eat. You hear your phone buzz, you wanna check it. You see your running shoes by the door, gives you want to jog. That's why Clear says the first law of habit change is make it obvious. If you want to build a good habit, put the cue right in your face. If you want to kill a bad habit, hide the cue. Example, want to drink more water? Put a bottle on your desk. Want to stop scrolling? TikTok? Delete the app from your home screen. Your environment is basically your habit. Autopilot. The craving. Make it attractive. Now the cue gets your attention, but the craving is what makes you move. It's not the habit itself you want, it's the feeling it gives you. You don't crave brushing your teeth. You crave that fresh, minty, clean vibe. You don't crave smoking. You crave the stress relief. You don't crave going to the gym. You crave the confidence, the pump, the energy. S-Y. The second law is make it attractive. If you want a habit to stick, you gotta link it to something you actually enjoy. The dopamine hit, is some brain science, but in plain English, habits run on dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. But here's the kicker, dopamine spikes, not when you get the reward, but when you anticipate it. That's why cravings are so powerful. Your brain is basically saying, "Yo, something good is coming. Let's go get it." That's why cues matter so much. They trigger the craving, which triggers the action. Habit stacking pro-level hack. Claire drops a slick trick here called habit stacking. Basically, you take a habit you already do and stack a new one on top of it. Formula after I, current habit, I will new habit. Examples: after I brush my teeth, I will floss one tooth. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write one sentence. After I take off my work shoes, I will put on my workout clothes. It works because you're piggybacking on an existing cue. Your brain already knows the rhythm, so the new habit slides right in. Real-life example. NBA players and cues. Claire tells a story about NBA players who use cues to lock in routines. Like, one guy always ties his shoes the same way before a game. Another always bounces the ball a certain number of times before a free throw. Those little cues triggered the mindset. Game time, it is not about the shoelaces or the ball bounce, it's about the craving for focus, confidence, and flow. Breaking bad habits, invert de la voz. Now, if you want to ditch a bad habit, you just flip the script. Cue, make it invisible. Hide the junk food, turn off notifications. Craving, make it unattractive. Remind yourself of the downsides, like how smoking wrecks your lungs or scrolling kills your tie. If the cue never shows up, the craving never gets triggered. And if the craving feels gross instead of good, the habit loses its power. The big lesson of Chapter 3. Mind takeaway habits. Start with a cue and a craving. If you want good habits, make the cues obvious and the cravings attractive. If you want to kill bad habits, hide the cues and make the cravings ugly. Your brain is basically a habit machine. It's always scanning for cues and chasing cravings. The trick is to hijack that system and point it where you want it to go. Chapter 5. Breaking Bad Habits. Flip the script. So, here's the deal. Building good habits is one side of the coin. But, let's be real, most of us are also fighting the bad ones. Scrolling TikTok till 3 a.m., chain smoking, binge eating, procrastinating like it's an Olympic sport. James Clear says the trick ain't about willpower or discipline. Nah, it's about hacking the system. You don't fight bad habits head-on, you starve them. And how do you starve them? You flip the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it invisible, make it unattractive, make it difficult, make it unsatisfying. That's the anti-habit formula. Let's break it down. Step 1. Make it invisible. Habits start with cues. If you don't see the cue, you don't start the habit. Simple. Wanna stop eating junk? Don't keep chips in the house. Wanna stop smoking? Don't hang with the crew that lights up every break. Wanna stop doom scrolling? Delete the app, or at least bury it in a folder. Out of sight, out of mind. Your environment is like a remote control for your habits. If the bad habit button ain't there, you can't press it. Step 2. Make it unattractive. Erst the thing. Bad habits stick because they feel good in the moment. Cigarettes calm your nerves. Junk food tastes bomb. Netflix chills you out. But if you flip the script and make them look nasty, your brain starts to lose interest. Reframe smoking. Instead of stress relief, think coughing, yellow teeth, and smelling like an ashtray. Reframe junk food. Instead of tasty snack, think sluggish, bloated, regret. Reframe procrastination. Instead of rest, think future stress doubled it. It's all about changing the story you tell yourself. If the craving feels gross, the habit loses its shine. Step 3. Make it difficult. Your brain loves easy. If a bad habit is effortless, you'll keep doing it. So, add friction. Make it a hassle. Wanna stop scrolling? Log out every time? Heck, delete the password autofill. Wanna stop overspending? Freeze your credit card in a block of ice. Literally. Wanna stop binge watching? Unplug the TV and stash the remote in another room. The harder it is to do, the less likely you'll bother. Bad habits thrive on convenience. Kill the convenience, kill the habit. Step 4. Make it unsatisfying. Areas. The kicker: bad habits usually give instant rewards. That's why they're sticky. So you gotta flip it. Make them painful, embarrassing, or straight up boring. Get an accountability buddy. Tell your friend, if I skip the gym, I owe you $20. Use apps that fine you if you don't hit your goals. Publicly commit to quitting. Nobody wants to look like a clown who can't keep their word. When the reward turns into regret, the habit loses its grip. Real-life example. The Gambler's Fall. Claire talks about how casinos are masters of habit design. Bright lights, free drinks, slot machines that ding and flash even when you lose it. All cues and rewards designed to keep you hooked. So if you're trying to break a bad habit, you gotta be your own Strip away the cues, kill the cravings, add friction, and make the reward feel like punishment. Why willpower ain't enough? It is the truth bomb. Willpower is overrated. If you're relying on raw discipline to fight bad habits, you're gonna lose eventually. Stress, fatigue, late night stay all drain willpower. But if you design your environment right, you don't need willpower. The habit just dies on its own. Exampling: if you're trying to eat healthier, don't keep cookies in the house. That way, even if you're tired and craving sugar, you'd have to drive to the store. That friction alone kills the craving. Replace. Don't just remove one more key. You can't just delete a bad habit. You gotta replace it. Your brain craves the reward. So give it a healthier way to get it. Instead of smoking for stress relief, try deep breathing or a quick walk. Instead of scrolling for entertainment, read a funny book or watch one episode of a show, not 5. Instead of snacking for comfort, call a friend or sip tea. You are not just killing the habit, you're rewiring the loop. The big lesson of Chapter 5. To mind takeaway: bad habits don't die because you try harder. They die because you make them invisible, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. It is not about being a superhero with iron willpower. It's about being smart enough to rig the game in your favor. Chapter 6. Environment is everything. Set the stage. When Kim here he is. The truth bomb James Clear drops. You done tea. Rise to the level of your goals. You'll fall to the level of your systems. And the biggest system you've got. Your environment. Most people think success is about motivation. Like, if you just want it bad enough, you'll grind through. But no, motivation is fickle. Some days you're rehyped. Some days you're drained. What really drives habits is the stage you set around you. Your environment is like an invisible hand, nudging you towards certain choices without you even realizing it. Why environment beats willpower? Think about it. If you're already trying to eat healthy but your kitchen is stacked with Oreos, Doritos, and soda, you're fighting a losing battle. Every time you walk in, the cues are screaming at you. Willpower might save you once or twice, but eventually, you'll cave. Now flip it. If your fridge is full of fruit, veggies, and water bottles, suddenly the easy choice is the healthy one. You don't need to be a monk with iron discipline, you just need to set the stage right. Clara's point is simple. Don't rely on willpower. Design your environment so the good habits are obvious and the bad ones are invisible. Quiz everywhere. Remember how habits start with cues. Well, your environment is basically a giant cue machine. Wanna read more? Put a book on your pillow so you see it before bed. Wanna play less Xbox? Unplug it and stash the controller in a drawer. Wanna drink more water? Keep a bottle on your desk. Your brain is lazy, it'll grab whatever's in front of it. So put the good stuff in sight and hide the bad stuff. Real-life example. The hospital cafeteria. Claire tells this story about a hospital that wanted people to drink less soda. Instead of lecturing folks, they just rearranged the cafeteria. They put bottled water at eye level and soda lower down. Guess what happened? Water sales shot up, soda sales dropped. Nobody got more disciplined. The environment just made the healthy choice, the easy choice. That's the power of design. Context shapes behavior. Error something wild. Habits are often tied to specific places. You might always snack in front of the TV, or always scroll your phone in bed. That S-Y-it-S. So hard to break those habits. You've trained your brain to associate the environment with the behavior. Redesign your spaces. If you want to stop snacking, don't eat in front of the TV. If you want to focus, create a work-only desk. If you want to sleep better, make your bed a no-phone zone. When you change the context, you change the habit. One space, one use. Claire suggests a simple rule. One space, one use. Don't mix signals. Bed, sleep, desk igual a doble work. Kitchen table equals meals. If you scroll TikTok in bed, your brain starts linking bed equals entertainment, not sleep. That's why you toss and turn at night. Keep your spaces clean and consistent, and your habits will follow. Environment can trap you too, of course. This cuts both ways. If your environment is full of bad cues, you'll fall into bad habits without even noticing. Candy jar on the counter equals constant sugar hits. Phone buzzing on the desk equals endless distraction. TV remote on the couch equals automatic binge. That S.Y. Clear says. Don't just build good environments, audit the bad ones. Look around your space and ask, what habits is this setup encouraging? We tease. Works brain science light. Your brain is wired to respond to what's visible and easy. It's not about strength or weakness. It's about design. If the cue is right there, your brain fires the craving. If the cue is hidden, the craving never even starts. That is why environment design is so powerful it cuts the habit loop off at the source. The big lesson of Chapter 6. Mind takeaway. Don't fight your environment, design it. Make the good habits obvious and easy. Make the bad ones invisible and hard. Your surroundings are like a silent partner in your life. If you set them up right, they'll push you towards success without you even trying. If you set them up wrong, they'll drag you down no matter how motivated you feel. Chapter 7. The Plateau of Latent Potential Trust. The process, air is the thing. Everybody loves the idea of progress. You hit the gym, you eat clean, you hustle on your side, project and you expect results fast. But James Clear hits us with some real talk. Progress doesn't work on your timeline. It works on nature's timeline, and nature's timeline is sneaky. It calls it the plateau of latent potential, that frustrating stretch where you're grinding, but nothing seems to be happening. You're putting in the work, but the results are invisible. That's where most people quit. But if you stick it out, that's where the magic happens. The ice cube reminder. Remember the ice cube metaphor from earlier. Rooms at 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You start heating it up. 26, 27, 28, but nothing changes. Then you hit 32, and boom, the ice melts. That is the plateau of latent potential. All those invisible degrees mattered, but you didn't see the payoff until the tipping point. Habits work the same way. You might not see results for weeks or months, but the work is stacking up behind the scenes. The Valley of Disappointment, Claire says. Most people quit in what he calls the Valley of Disappointment. That's the gap between what you expect to happen and what actually happens. Expectation: I'll hit the gym for a month and look. Reality: I hit the gym for a month and I still look the same. Gap is brutal. It makes you feel like the effort isn't worth it. But here's the truth. The results are coming, they're just delayed. Like compound interest, the payoff is back. Real-life example. Bamboo growth. Eris a dope analogy. Bamboo, you plant it, water it, and for years, just dirt, but underground, the roots are spreading like crazy. Then one day, it shoots up 90 feet in 6 weeks. That is habits. You're building roots before you see shoots. The growth is invisible until it explodes. Why the brain struggles with delayed results. Humans are wired for instant gratification. We want the cookie now, the dopamine hit now, the likes on Instagram now. That's why bad habits are so sticky, they pay off immediately. Good habits. They're delayed gratification. You eat a salad today, you don't wake up skinny tomorrow. You save $100 today, you don't retire rich tomorrow. That lag messes with our heads. But if you understand the plateau of latent potential, you stop stressing about the lag. You trust the process. The breakthrough moment. It is the key. Habits often don't show results until you cross a critical threshold. That's the breakthrough moment. And it always feels sudden to outsiders. The writer who suddenly becomes a bestseller after years of writing in obscurity. The athlete who suddenly dominates after years of training in silence. The startup that suddenly blows up after years of grinding in a garage. It looks like an overnight success, but it's really years of invisible compounding. How to survive the plateau. So, how do you keep going when results are invisible? Clear gives us some strategies. 1. Focus on systems, not goals. Don't obsess over the scale or the bank account. Obsess over showing up daily. Those track the reps, not the results. Did you write today? Did you work out today? That's the win. 3. Redefine success. Success isn't I lost 10 pounds. Success is I didn't miss my workout. When you shift your focus to the process, you stop stressing about the lag. Example: the weightlifter. Claire tells a story about a guy who went to the gym every day for a year. For months, nothing changed. Then suddenly the weight started dropping, the muscles started showing, and everyone was like, "Wow, you transformed overnight." But it wasn't overnight. It was the plateau of latent potential finally breaking. The big lesson of Chapter 7, the mind takeaway. Results take time. Habits compound invisibly until they explode. If you quit in the Valley of Disappointment, you'll never see the breakthrough. The work you're doing today might not pay off tomorrow, but it is stacking up. Trust the process. Chapter 8. Building systems that stick for life. Habits as lifestyle. So, here's the deal. Anybody can start a habit. Hitting the gym for a week, Easy. Eating clean for a month? Doable. Waking up early for a few days? Sure. But the real flex ain't starting, it's staying consistent for years. That's where most people fall off. James Clear's final message is simple but deep. Habits aren't about a finish line. They're about building an identity and a system that lasts forever. You don't complete habits, you live them. Systems over goals one last time. Claire keeps hammering this. Goals are cool, but systems are king. Goal: run a marathon. System: become a runner who laces up daily. Goal: write a book. System: become a writer who writes every morning. Goal: lose 20 pounds. System: become a healthy person who eats clean and moves daily. When you focus on systems, you don't burn out after hitting the goal. You just keep rolling, because it's who you are now. Habits as identity. Be now. You've seen the theme. Every habit is a vote for your identity. The final step is locking that identity in. Don't just try to be healthy, be the type of person who doesn't miss workouts. Don't just try to save money, be the type of person who always pays themselves first. Don't just try to be creative, be the type of person who writes, paints, or designs daily. When your habits and your identity match, you don't need motivation. It's just who you are. The role of reflection and review is a pro-level move. Every so often, step back and review your habits. Clear suggests doing an annual review or even a quarterly check-in. Ask yourself, what habits are serving me? What habits are holding me back? Who am I becoming with these habits? T's reflection keeps you from drifting, because habits are powerful, but they can also lock you into an identity you don't want if you are not careful. Real-life example: athletes and lifelong systems. Think about pro athletes. The ones who last the longest aren't the ones who just grind hardest in their 20s. They're the ones who build sustainable systems: nutrition, recovery, training, mindset that carry them for decades. Same with life. You don't want habits that burn you out. You want habits that you can carry into your 40s, 50 segundos, 60s. That's the real win. Tools to lock it in. Claire gives a few practical hacks to make habits stick long-term. Habit tracking: mark an X on the calendar, use an app, or keep a journal. The visual proof keeps you motivated. Accountability partners: share your goals with a friend, coach, or community. Nobody wants to look like they flaked. Environment designed forever. Keep shaping your surroundings so the good habits stay easy and the bad ones stay hard. Identity anchors. Keep reminding yourself, I'm the type of person who... That self-talk cements the habit. Habit survive. Charles R.S. The real test. Can your habits survive when life gets messy? Vacations, stress, family drama, work overload. This is where most people fall off. Clear's advice: make your habits so small and flexible that you can do them anywhere. Can't hit the gym? Do push-ups in your hotel room. Can't meditate for 20 minutes? Do 2 minutes in the car. Can't write a chapter? Write. One sentence. Consistency beats intensity. Always habits as lifestyle, not challenge. The final mindset shift. Stop treating habits like a 30-day challenge. Challenges end. Lifestyles don't. Don't go on a diet. Become a healthy eater. Don't do a writing challenge. Become a writer. Don't try a workout program. Become an athlete. When habits are part of your identity, you don't quit. You just live. The big lesson of Chapter 8. The mind takeaway: habits aren't about hitting goals, they're about becoming the kind of person who lives the life you want. If you build systems, shape your environment, reflect often, and anchor your identity, your habits will stick for life.